What is going on, my peeps? I am so glad you're back for part 2. Of course, it's your buddy Matt, and this is a new series where I'm taking you behind the scenes for the illustration process of Vader's World. Of course, it is my 30th anniversary of illustrating official Star Wars art, and because of this, I have a show coming up in Germany, this big art show where I am one of 2 featured artists, myself and Robert Bailey, who's one of the original storyboard artists from the original trilogy. And I think for me, I do a lot of different styles, but the one that people resonate with the most is kind of that movie poster painted style with all of the texture and the color pencils on top. Of course, most people think of Drew Struzan with that technique, but there is Amblin and Amsel and Alvin and a number of other artists who kind of made that technique popular. It's a really good technique to use. So I'm using that here for illustrating Vader's World. And last time, you can see here, we kind of laid everything out, put in our darkest darks. We got some of the dark washes in there. But again, this is just black, and you don't want, at least the way I do this technique, you never want to mix black washes into people's faces. And I'm doing it into Darth Vader's face because his helmet is black and it's not an organic, we don't see a skin tone or something like that. And whenever you use straight up black, because black is a combination of all colors mixed, and when you try to blend that, especially transparently, into people's faces, it just does not do you any favors. It looks like soot or 5 o'clock shadow, all the things. Okay, so that brings us to today, which is, of course, the wonderful world of washes. And what we're trying to do with washes, we are doing transparent color. And it's transparent because you can see through it. Ultimately, this is where we're looking to get right here. But there's layers that we're going to do, that we're building up. So here we are where this is where we left off last time. And the idea now, I needed to figure out what was going to happen with the color. So what I did, because I kind of had an idea in my head, but I wanted to make sure that it worked. So I had a photo of my initial sketch that I did, and I imported that into Photoshop, and then I kind of erased out all of the whiteboard, the texture. It didn't have to be anything perfect. You can see this is a little janky here. But what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to have some colors fading, and I just wanted to make sure that it kind of worked. And also, Darth Vader I knew was going to be prominently dark, kind of a lot of blacks. You can see I scribbled that in. This is just for my own reference. This was never, this is just a digital quickity, throwing in some color. This was just for my own giggles. Would it actually look cool if that was kind of the overall vibe with the color? And I was pretty happy with it. So there was a couple things I wanted to change, but I was just like, okay, good. I'm on the right track. Let's do this. So then you noticed last time that I already had some of this was drawn with pencil, which is silver, but again, it's pretty dark. It's pretty much black. And you'll notice that when I drew Princess Leia originally, it was done with a purple color pencil, and Luke was with hot pink. And part of the reason that I did this is that I wanted them to be kind of fading into the sky, into this kind of spiral sunset that's kind of going around the sun on the other side of this piece. So I knew that I wanted there to be that kind of color scheme where Princess Leia was kind of made out of purples, and I just wanted to kind of do something fun with that. So same thing with Luke, where in the sky next to him, it's kind of like this orangish radial happening away from the sun that's above that Star Destroyer that my arm is covering right there. and then kind of starting to move into these hot pink colors. And so by having this underpainting with that, that's going to help quite a bit. And ultimately what you're trying to do with washes, it's layers. So this is not the first layer of paint. It's not the last layer of paint. Well, I actually take that back. It is the first layer of paint, but there will be many, many more. You can kind of see there's a little bit, like the paint doesn't dry as much at first, and so you have to kind of wait for it. Sometimes with acrylic washes, if you go over it again before it dries, sometimes you'll lift up the color, and so you have to be careful with it. Okay, and of course hanging out with Kip Duron once again. So this is how I create the washes. I use old photo canisters that hold film that you would take to get developed. These are becoming harder and harder to find. Art stores sell similar little canisters, and what I do is I put about as much paint right out of the tube, acrylic, that you would put on your toothbrush, and then I fill the rest with water, almost all the way, because obviously I don't want to spill it all over. Mix that up really good, and then it creates an acrylic wash. And on purpose, you want to be able to see through it. So you can see here as I add in this blue wash on the side of Emperor Palpatine's cloak, you can see the drawing right through it. Now there will be more layers. I'll be adding textures and it'll get darker and darker as I go, but that's kind of the idea. Here you can see once again, I need some yeller. So I already had the yellow paint kind of squeezed into this little canister, added the water, and now I've got to mix it up. And you got to mix it good already, like almost instantly. There's a little bit of a wash. You can kind of see the color turned yellow right away. But I need to get all of those chunks mixed in because I don't want to have streaking when I paint in these washes. So here you can see I wanted to have a really nice blend in the sky, but what I wanted, and some of this I'm going to achieve with the airbrush, but I wanted to paint an underlayer of that sky first because I really wanted to get some nice edges of color that go kind of against Darth Vader's helmet, for example, and around the Death Star and around the Star Destroyer and a number of places. But having control of that underneath, there's going to be overspray. So when I spray in yellow, again, to kind of smooth out some of the washes that I painted in the sky, that's going to be great. But also, I just want to have some really good defined edges, and that's why I actually paint some of this in, and I don't just go straight to the airbrush and spray in the sky. I want to have a little bit more control of where that's happening. Oh, by the way, you can see that I added the hot pink over on the other side just to kind of get some good edges over there. And the thing about washes is, again, you need to mix the paint really good. You need to have a nice consistency. Sometimes what that means is you need either less paint or you need to make sure it's mixed really good. On the other side, you can see the hot pink, and even in Luke Skywalker, it's a little bit streaky. It's a little bit chunky with the washes. It's probably not because I didn't mix it good. It's probably because I had too much paint. So there should have been more water. Now that would have made the wash lighter, but it would have been better. You can always paint more washes. You always can do more layers to get it darker and darker, to get that really good color that you want. As soon as you kind of do it where, you know, it's dark enough, but you've got the streaking, that's gonna, you can color it with more washes, and you can do airbrush, and you can do color pencil and everything, so you won't notice it as much in the final piece. But if I really wanted that sky to be smoother, it would have helped to have mixed a little bit more water and to have made it just a little bit smoother. It would have taken maybe a little bit more time, not a lot, but layering is key, layering these washes. Now, what's really cool about this technique, you're actually going to see in the next video. That's kind of the secret to how this technique works, because we're going to do opaque painting. So again, today, right, we added washes like so. But next week is where we are going to dive into the wonderful world of opaque painting. That is, opaques that are straight out of the tube and they get complete coverage. And the idea is that's where things really start to look three-dimensional. You can play with highlights and everything is going to come out super awesome. So please come back for that video. Can't wait to show this to you guys. So did you like this? I mean, come on, that's worth a like, right? So you have to please give me a like. Please, if you're not subscribed already, plus the notification bell so that you never miss a single video. You need to let me know in the comments what else would you like to see with the videos I am putting out for you. Plus, share because you care. And if you haven't seen them all, I think there are like 24 different You Can Draw Star Wars episodes. Plus, if you saw them way back in the day, I have newer ones that I have that have more quality, that are at a higher resolution. Matt's class, more videos in art techniques and styles. Sketchbook challenge is so cool, you have to check that out. Plus, I teach classes in the creative imaging and illustration department. It's in the Media and Communication Arts program at Macomb College. Of course, Hollywood is Dead, zombified movie posters, and coming soon, you've been hearing about it forever, ALADDIN 3477, the first film in my own sci-fi movie trilogy, is coming out soon. Can't wait for that. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week with opaque painting. I will see you guys then. May the Force be with you.